everyone, it's Teresa and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be me talking about my May TBR and two things. Some housekeeping. One, I apologize if my eyes seem a little like weird. With everything going on, I haven't had a chance to go to my eye doctor and I'm very overdue for an eye appointment. So my contacts are from March. I haven't used them since like the first week of March, like that often unless I'm filming or something, but they're from March, so they're a little old and the prescription needs to be updated because even my glasses are starting to get wonky on me. Two, I'm sorry for no videos last week. Aside from that, I will not be uploading my vlogs for City of Ashes, I believe, and Catching Fire. I went through the footage and I was trying to edit it and the energy wasn't right and it made me feel bad and I was already in a pretty like poopy place considering everything that's happening. So I like took a breather to recharge and I'm like, I don't want to put content out that I don't like just for the sake of putting content out. So we're back and I feel a little better. I took a break from basically everything creative. I didn't write, I didn't do anything YouTube related, I didn't even really watch YouTube videos. It was just the most creative thing that I did was work on my bullet journal, and that's always cathartic for me to work on because it's like mindless but kind of not. So I'm feeling better and I have a lot of fun videos planned for May and I'm getting to video ideas that I should have gotten to in the past. So we're back here. So for the month of May, I need to get my bullet journal out because I have some things that aren't in this stack that I'm definitely gonna forget about. And I really hope you can't hear my sister singing. She's taking a shower right now and she is like belting out her music, and while I support that 100%, the mic on my camera is really sensitive and I have yet to buy a microphone for myself. So it picks it up, and so I'm hoping that one, you don't hear it, and two, I don't get copyrighted because it should be muffled enough with my own voice that you don't hear it. Yeah, here is my May TBR. Let's just get into it before I forget to do anything else and I start rambling about things. Let's start off with the books that I don't currently own physically. The first book is Court of Miracles by Kester Grant. This is an ARC. I believe this should be released June 26th. I'll put the actual date somewhere here. But this is an ARC that I received from NetGalley, so thank you so much to NetGalley. And basically this is a fantastical retelling of Les Miserables. That's all I needed to hear when I picked it up. It's a YA fantasy retelling of Les Miserables. I started reading it a little bit in March when I first received it, but I didn't get a chance because I was so busy. And I remember what happened because I've only like a couple chapters in. So I'm excited to get into this world, and I'm sure I'll probably be reading it once I'm done with some other things that I have to read that you will now see. The second book is one that has not yet released yet, and that is The Ballads of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. This is the prequel. This is a YA novel, dystopian novel, and it's prequel to the very loved Hunger Games. It is coming out, I believe, May 18th or May 19th, and it basically follows Snow's perspective as he starts to teach a victor for, I forget which Hunger Games it is, but it's a while, to help kind of bring about his family's like honor, and it's like his weird villain origin story, and I'm really excited to see it, primarily because I trust Suzanne Collins and trust that she will not make like a complete and total disaster out of like romanticizing him. I doubt she will romanticize him, so I'm excited to see where she goes with this, and I have a feeling it is going to end up reflecting kind of the current situation that we are in, because like the concept of mentoring someone only for them to go against everything that they probably have said someone for the sake of rising up the ladder sounds very familiar right now. And I'm not going to drop names or say things because that is a rude thing, and I am a lady, but we all know who I'm referencing. The next one is another book that I'm part of a kind of a book club for. Some book Twitter friends of mine from the OG group chat decided to make another book club where we talk about adult books because we have all been trying to break out of YA a bit more and read more adult. We've been struggling a little bit with that just because YA is so mainstream. So the first book that we are reading, we are kicking off Asian Heritage Month with Accusation Stories from North Korea by Bandy. This is an anthology of short stories about the current state of North Korea as it is, and stories from families and individuals within this state. It's all fiction. Like the only truths about it are kind of what's going on within the actual world or within the country and like the state of it. but the actual stories are not. And I believe everything is set around the 1990s. I have only read like 2 or 3 stories. It's around like 1993, so I don't know how far that timeline will continue, but we will see, and I'll let you guys know what I think. So far I'm enjoying it. It's a lot in the sense that I realize I know nothing about North Korean culture or like politics or anything, which is really upsetting considering like there's so much like chat about North Korea in like normal day-to-day life within the news. So it's odd to not know a ton about something that I hear mentioned a lot. And it's a lot of like learning and like slowly getting through the book, just because like I said, I have to like sometimes stop and Google and like figure out like what exactly they mean, what's going on, and how to like what to learn from it. But so far I'm learning a lot. The group chat's already discussed it just a little bit because some of us, not going to mention who, has already finished the book. So far I'm like 37% of the way through, and it's interesting to see how everything works and kind of the laws and everything, and it's just a lot to learn about. Right now I'm not Googling a ton, but I'm sure that once I get deeper into the story and like kind of into the pace of it, because I feel like with short story collections you hit walls. Like you can enjoy a story and then not enjoy the next story, or like not enjoy several stories until you reach like the one that kind of gets the ball rolling. So right now it's just me trying to like find my pacing with the short stories before I get into the actual like deep research, and thankfully things are not so hard to understand just quite yet. There are some instances where I'm like, what? But for the most part it's pretty straightforward. The next book is kind of along the, like writing along the tales of Songbirds, and that is Mockingjay by Suzanne Collins. I am part of a read-along, and for the past, I want to say, month or so, we have been reading through the Hunger Games series, and now we are finally on Mockingjay. I'm meant to start reading this week and then finish it out next by the end of this week, and I haven't started just quite yet. This is the third and final book to the original Hunger Games trilogy, where we kind of see everything come to a head and see kind of the climactic point and see where find out the decisions that Katniss has to make in order to keep her family safe and keep them alive, as well as trying to be a force for this revolution that she never really quite signed up for. She was just a girl who wanted to live. I have not read this book since probably a month before I graduated high school in 2014. And it is now 2020, so it's been like 6 years. So I don't remember a ton, and if I'm going to be completely honest with you, Mockingjay, from what I recall, was not my favorite out of the trilogy. I think my favorite will always be Catching Fire, primarily because I feel like Mockingjay, things that happened in like toward the end that we all probably know about, happened a little too quickly for me to really absorb. But we'll see if my feelings change. Since I didn't do a vlog for Catching Fire, I will not be doing one for Mockingjay either, but I think I'll be doing like a series review on the Hunger Games trilogy, as well as Songbirds when that book comes out and I get a chance to read it. So keep an eye out for that. The next book on my TBR is another read-along. If you guys don't know, my friends Andrea, Lisa, and I believe Michaela, I'm not sure if she's still reading the series with us, are currently reading through the entire Shadowhunters trilogy. I know that Andrea and Lisa and I have plans to make a live show out of every 3 set of books, which is the Messy Musketeers, which I have mentioned in my Chain of Gold vlog. Since I read the first 2 books in April, we are now going to finish off the first original trilogy with City of Glass by Cassandra Clare. This is the third and supposed final book of the original like trilogy. Cassie had mentioned that this was the final book, and then she continued on with Lost Souls, Fallen Angels, and City of Heaven and Fire. This is basically where everything comes to, like I said, a head in the original Shadowhunter set. We find out that there's a lot of other things that they have to do in order to defeat Valentine, and see that there's also a lot of other plot twists that happen that change the Shadowhunter world forever. That's all I can really say without giving out too much. This is like my second or third time rereading through this series. It's been a minute, and I remember that City of Glass was my favorite out of the entire original trilogy. I don't remember why exactly, but it was my favorite. The next book is another one that's part of a read-along. So many read-alongs, and I'm almost done with them all soon. And that one is King of Scars by Leigh Bardugo. This is another spin-off series from the original Grishaverse trilogy, and this time we're following the aftermath of, I believe, the original Grishaverse trilogy from Nikolai's perspective, and we get to see my beautiful baby Lansov, and I get to love on him and treat him like the prince he deserves. And I know Zoya's in this too, so it's even like mwah, because Zoya's even like, Zoya is like my wife, Nikolai is my husband, and it's all gonna be okay. I don't know a ton about this book. I'm actually kind of nervous getting into this one just because I've heard some mixed things. One of them primarily being that for a book about Nikolai, Nikolai is not in it a lot. And look at how gorgeous she is naked. Isn't she pretty? Honestly, gold and black will be my favorite aesthetically pleasing combo of all time. Ever. So you can do no wrong with this. But yeah, regardless of my feelings or hesitation, I'm excited to pick it up. And yes, I will be vlogging it just because I have vlogged literally the entire Grisserverse like livelihood. So it's only fair that I vlog this one as well. And the last book for my May TBR is actually one that came out in March and that I've meaning to get to. And that is Crescent City by Sarah J Maas. This is Sarah J Maas's venture into adult fantasy. And I don't know too much about it. All I know is there's just a lot of things going on there. From what I've seen from like fan fiction and like people talking about it on book Twitter, thankfully I've avoided spoilers, is that there's like mermaids and fairies and like dark magic, and I'm interested to see how it goes. So I'm excited to get into this. I have heard mixed things. People say it's either really great or it's terrible, but I love Sarah J Maas. I think she has a talent in writing, so I'm excited to see where this goes. I don't know what you look like. Okay, naked you look like a plain thing with that little moon, but I know the end papers, like, gorgeous. Gorgeous. But that is it for the books that I plan on reading in the month of May. Please let me know what books you guys are planning on reading. If you guys have any questions or concerns or want to talk more about the books, let me know down below. Hit like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you guys in my next video, which will be my April wrap-up. But now my battery's blinking, so I have to go charge that. So I'll see you guys next time. Bye.